as you guys know, Robert Downey Jr. has been brought back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He is going to be playing Doctor Doom. This is going to come with a huge pay increase that over what he was already making in the previous Marvel movies that he was doing, as well as the Russo brothers. And a lot of the discourse online right now is a lot of communists who are very upset that a man who is completely necessary to bring back for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if they want any success at all, is making the money commensurate with his worth.
Yeah, communists on Twitter are extremely upset that Robert Downey Jr. is making upwards of $80 million for this role.
So I was listening to some stuff last night. So he's made as much as $75 million per film in other ones, and he just became an Oscar-winning actor. He's not taking a pay cut. Most likely, what you're at least John Campea was saying, $100 million, which will put him in line with the two biggest movie earners of all time, which is Will Smith for Men in Black 3 and Tom Cruise for Top Gun Maverick, who made $12.5 million on the initial movie, and then it ballooned to 100 after back-end deals because of box office success.
Yep.
So likely $100 million.
So I guess we'll just go through some of the butthurt takes that we saw.
But actually, before we get there, I just want to point out to you guys so that you understand the relevance of this year. I did what you would call Twitter back of the napkin calculations, just not even on all his guest appearances, but the 3 Marvel movies that he starred in, meaning all 3 Iron Man movies. I'm not including Civil War, which he is also a co-star in, but it's Captain America's movie. And then the 4 Avengers movies, which he would have been given top billing to, which earned a total of $10 billion at the box office. And he made all his Marvel earnings about $600 million. Now, forgive me for being a little bit Kamala Harris-esque, but $500 million is a number, and $10 billion is a larger number. When you make the larger number,
Do you think Robert Downey Jr. just fell out of a coconut tree?
Exactly.
He exists in the context of everything in which he acts.
He is unburdened by
and all of the movies that he's been in the past. Yeah. Okay, so here were the butthurt takes. One person said, nobody wants to make a big deal about it.
Yes, they do.
But movie stars make too much money. Nobody should be paid $1 million for a single movie, let alone $80 million.
Okay, so now here's the question for them, right? So these people hate studios and concentrated wealth anyways, right? So what, you want to pay the actors less than $1 million for a studio that's going to make hundreds of millions of dollars?
Right, like the money is going to go somewhere, and someone will be receiving the money. Do you want it to be Disney?
Actors are paid based on the amount of leverage they have in contract negotiations, right? Based on the value that they can bring to the product. There is literally no better time for him to get in there than Marvel when they're in the middle of failing, right? They've got a couple of hits right now with Deadpool and Wolverine, but in general, they are not doing well. So you take the actor who made you $10 billion minimum, you add the fact that he's now an Oscar-winning actor, you combine it with the fact that they need the help. They just lost Kang. There's no way he's making less than $100 million. I refuse to believe it. And he deserves every penny of it.
I think they just want the studios to donate all of the proceeds from these movies after they reach profitability to Gaza. I think in this person's ideal world, literally anything that went above profitability for Disney putting out a movie like this, it would go to charity, or it would go to them specifically.
This is why people have trouble with these type of socialists and communists, right? Like, they believe in a completely subjective idea of when enough is enough, right? Bernie Sanders believed in it. As soon as he became a millionaire, $1 billion was too much. But before that, $1 million was too much.
Perspective is everything. We got a 20 from Boosted Yogi. He said, "How dare they not want actors to make a livable wage?" It's truly a travesty. One other one said, actors, even on the biggest films, should be paid $5 million maximum.
Again, where does that number come from?
If that's not a lot to them, then I don't know. Start using the budget to put it on screen. $80 million for one actor is insane. That's $8-10 million films you can make. Okay, but they wouldn't be Avengers Doomsday.
Yes, nobody goes to Marvel movies to see. Look, I love the idea of making smaller budget, more intimately created films, but that doesn't have the mass appeal that Marvel looks for, right?
Right.
People want to see the explosions. My favorite scene in the...
They want to see the sky beams.
They want to see the freaking sky beam that's in everything. And if you want to animate Wolverine ripping out... Deadpool ripping out Wolverine's rib cage from his corpse and pushing it through the head of a bunch of TVA agents with the text of the people starring in the movie, that's going to cost you some money. Just the licensing to use the song Bye 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 by Backstreet Boys probably cost them a fortune, right? Like, the problem is like the under-the-line workers, at least the ones that are on Twitter, right? We can't put this on all of them. The ones that are on Twitter, they're the actual communists. My problem is that the actors, the celebrity actors that end up actually succeeding, they are champagne socialists who then become champagne capitalists once they become successful to a certain degree, right? They love to pay lip service to the idea of everyone getting a little bit more money. Certainly,
is Robert Downey Jr. like that?
I have no idea. I don't know.
I mean, I know he's a lefty, but is he really like that hardcore about it?
I mean, what is it? It's like every socialist is a capitalist when backs are turned. So, you know, when nobody's looking, you make your cool $600 million and you're good.
Here's a couple of other tweets from people talking about the below the line workers. Zach Morrison said, no actor should be making this much when writers, assistants, and script coordinators are making $17 to $20 an hour. Another one named Tyler Scruggs, which is just a very appropriately annoying name, said, I will repeat this until I'm blue in the face. I made $12.50 an hour working 70 plus hours a week on Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Went up to $14 on Blade Volume 1.
He later tells you what his job was. What was his job?
He said, oh yeah, we won the Oscar too. And when he clarified his role, he was a costume department assistant.
Yes, he was a PA for the costume department. Here's the thing. It is true that all of these workers are necessary. You need the script coordinator, you need the costume designer, and the costume designer's production assistant. Here's the problem. There is only one Robert Downey Jr. There are a lot of people that can fill the role that you do. Nobody's saying that it isn't important, but if you don't have an understanding of basic economics of supply and demand, you're not going to get why Robert Downey Jr. can ask $100 million and you cannot.
In one of these replies, someone said, what's going on at the, was this theaters union rate for that position? He said this was a PA job, which are not union protected at all. But again, it's just you're not providing the same value that Robert Downey Jr. is providing. I don't know why you would expect
there's a 20 there.
A pay anywhere near that. Wyatt Kaldenberg said, when I was a kid, it was free to go to Disneyland. If you wanted to ride, you bought tickets at a booth. The booths had free Christian pamphlets written by Walt and Roy Disney. Disney went to hell when the Disney brothers died.
Well, there's a lot of arguments to be made that that's the problem with a lot of like long-standing franchises and properties now, is that once the initial creators pass on, its legacy dies with them, because you can't truly know if the next generation that carry on its legacy understand or even care about what they wanted or believed in.
Walt Disney wrote pamphlets about Jesus and handed them out for free at the parks? And now we have bearded trans people working at the park with children. Okay, just I didn't know that. That's kind of a shock to me. I didn't know that he was even religious. He's got a good clapback in the replies here. One person said, you really should have applied for the role of actor then.
Yeah. And
he said, I got a call back for Gigantic Loser Baby, but they gave it to you. I got a kick out of that. But anyway,
I think I heard that Scarlett Johansson. I'm sorry. I think I heard that Margot Robbie made $50 million for Barbie.
Really? There's no way that's true.
After the back end deals and everything like that.
Really?
It could be higher, but I think that's what I heard.
Okay.
Is that what she made?
Well, she was also a producer on on the movie, so that makes sense. Recently, TMZ followed Jonathan Majors as he was getting his matcha latte, and they asked him how he felt about the fact that Marvel is bringing back Robert Downey Jr. as the big bad and replacing him as Kang the Conqueror.
Should we watch this video?
Let's take a look at what he had to say.
Womp, womp, womp.
Nice.
I mean, it was announced that Robert Downey Jr. was, being brought back from Marvel to play Doctor Doom. I mean, it looks like he's replacing your villain.
I just love this TMZ chick, by the way.
She loves the drama.
She's my favorite.
Yeah, heartbroken.
You are.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, of course. I love him. I love Kang.
I mean,
Doctor Doom is wicked though.
Oh, yeah, it is good. It's gonna be good. I mean, both Robert Downey.
She's like, who the hell is Doctor Doom?
Jr. and Ezra Miller.
She's just trying to get him to say some problematic shit.
The law and getting arrested for felonies. I mean, you only had a misdemeanor. Do you feel like it's unfair that you're not being given the same opportunities as them?
Damn.
She's poking the bear.
I think it's fair that Mr. Downey is being and has been greeted with patience and curiosity and love, and that Mr. Miller's gotten the same treatment.
Mr. Miller got none of that same treatment. Ezra Miller did not. Okay, so she made it seem like Ezra Miller was brought back after his problematic behavior to make a movie. The movie was being held hostage by his bad behavior because it was already 3/4 of the way done and in production hell when he was misbehaving. And Robert Downey Jr. acted bad when Clinton was in office and then was brought back years later. And even then in the late 2000s, in the early 2000s, in 2008, it was considered a gamble to bring him back. Like they were taking a risk by hiring him.
Sure. Yeah.
So she's not exactly giving him the fair.
No, those two examples.
Yes.
No, but I know exactly what she's doing here. We'll get to that.
And that they're being allowed to work their art and be creative at that level, It's not. I'm not really. I didn't really get that. So
Do you wish you had the same opportunity as them?
I mean, that's hard. I mean, come on. Yeah.
I mean, why do you think that's the case though? For them?
Wow.
She just keeps pushing it.
She's good at her job.
Would you want your old role back, your old job back as Kang the Conqueror?
Kang?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love him. That's why I said I love him. I love him. I love Kang. Love Timeless. Love He Who Remains. Love him. If that's what the fans want, if that's what Marvel wants, let's roll. Hell
Okay.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. It's completely plausible that could end up happening down the line. What he's ignoring is the fact that this is the immediate aftermath and not the long-held aftermath. Ezra Miller's doesn't count because he had already filmed a $300 million movie that was waiting to be released, and there was no way they were going to scrap it because of his bad behavior.
Yeah, people were so taken aback by the fact that she mentioned Ezra Miller in the same sentence as Robert Downey Jr. because there's just no comparison. One said, Ezra Miller got packed up just like he did. That's a terrible example.
He hasn't been
anything,
working.
They both got the luxury of what they already shot still airing and not getting replaced. Another one said, what grace did Ezra Miller get? Miller hasn't booked a single job, and The Flash was already done when the legal stuff happened. Just like Loki Season 2, what a clown. Another one said, why are we talking like RDJ was offered these huge Marvel roles while he was in a cell or rehab?
Correct.
He did have to wait out dark years before his comeback. Same could happen to this buddy too. And F. Ezra Miller, fully agree with that take. But yeah, I am not sure who to blame after watching that clip. If it's the TMZ reporter or if it's Jonathan Majors or both of them. But what they're clearly trying to do is, they're trying to propagate a narrative that Jonathan Majors is getting unfair treatment because of his race. Correct. They're trying to say that he is being thrown under the bus for his criminal behavior because he's black. And there are unconscious biases in Hollywood that we need to overcome, which, he would get his restorative justice by getting his role back.
Wow, you just used all the buzzwords. That's amazing.
I'm sure I missed a few, but you get the idea. And I think that Jonathan Majors, at the very least, being a race ideologue, believes that he's being treated this way because he's black.
And the other difference is that Robert Downey Jr. has shown a lot of grace with what he's been given, the gifts he's been given by being allowed to make this comeback. I know for a fact he gave a speech at a luncheon. They're always at luncheons or dinners or some type of
galas.
Where he asked for grace from Mel Gibson. He says, this dude has suffered enough. It's time to forgive him for his mistakes. And for him to do that after everything that he had been through, and now he's made his way back into the top echelon of the industry, that was a risk, and that was something that he was willing to do on behalf of Mel Gibson. So I think that there should be kudos given for that, given that he didn't need to do that.
Was that recent?
No, it was a while back, but it was after his return to the role.
Yeah, that's something that Pedro Pascal should have done for Gina Carano.
If I remember correctly, Mel Gibson had been instrumental in Robert Downey Jr.'s career early on, if I remember correctly. So it's a thing. And
look, Jonathan Majors is being a whiny baby, and no one feels bad for him, and I'm glad about it.
Chat says it was 2011 that he said that. So that was 2-3 years after he joined Marvel. Would he do that now? I don't know. But he did it, and speaking up in 2011 on behalf of Mel Gibson was already something you probably weren't supposed to do.
Yeah.
They didn't even like him after Passion of the Christ came out. So.
Right. Well, they liked him even less.
Yes.
After Passion of the Christ came out.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.